Pretty sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. Just loving the spring. Cactus.
This is part 2 of the Snap S-1 review. We're going through Snapchat's IPO filing, seeing what we can find. Now we are on page 93 to go over the business. Snap is a camera company. We already covered this earlier in the filing. 158 million people using Snap every day, 2.5 billion snaps created every day. That's an average of 16 snaps created per day per user. Epic engagement. Each user is creating 16 pieces of content. This is interesting. In the way the flashing cursor became the starting point for most products on desktop computers, we believe the camera screen will be the starting point for most products on smartphones. Snapchat wants to make the camera a way to communicate. So instead of sending somebody a text to express how you're feeling, you send them a snap because they think that's more intimate. It has more context. It has richer information than text or a keyboard. So I kind of buy that, and I think that's an interesting paradigm about Snapchat. Is it's not just a chat app, it's not just a social network, it's a new paradigm of communicating through moving images and pictures instead of text. Delete by default. So this is what has made Snap totally different than every other social network from the get-go. Instead of saving everything and building a cache or a profile that people can access and read through all your historical posts, everything is deleted immediately. Or according to Snap, this makes you far more likely to post fun content. It makes it way less pressure to make good content to post on Snap because you're not worried about it's going to stay there forever. Wow. So they're going from the telegraph to the telephone to Snapchat. I guess that's a stretch. For over 130 years, people have used cameras to document their lives by taking photographs. Today, people use cameras to communicate by making images and sending them back and forth to one another. Snap helped make this possible, in part reduction of deletion by default. So it makes it more conversational because it's not just a post that you're going to see. It allows you to talk to your friends through snaps rather than just commemorating your life with a photograph. So that's a big differentiator with Snap, is they're kind of a new paradigm of social network. I like how they give us historical context of the history of the camera industry and how Snapchat fits into that evolution. I think in that context, you can kind of see the power that this company has. As technology becomes more ubiquitous, it becomes easier and easier and more practical to use images for communication. Kind of pitching themselves as a disruptor to texting. Texting and photos were not an ideal way of communicating, and so they wanted to communicate with images. So I think Snap is really onto something here, actually, when you look at their mission. The way they look at and understand the smartphone era and how people interact with it is just seems like way ahead of the curve, frankly. When we launched Snap, one of the fastest ways to send pictures on a smartphone. Every snap was deleted. Snap was primarily used to send selfies. Over time, as we add more tools, our community began to express a full range of their experiences using Snapchat. Okay, it's a much more engaging and rich experience to send video rather than text, because the human brain processes images much faster than text. Okay, images can convey emotion very quickly. I'm buying this. I like this pitch right here. And it's an unlocked an explosion of creativity. This is really important. Because it's deleted, you're never freaked out about it staying on your post forever, so it allows you to be way more creative and just post a lot more. We learned that creativity can be suppressed by the fear of permanence, but also empowered through ephemerality. So Snapchat is really differentiating the fact that all their messages are ephemeral, not permanent like every other social network. But that's not to say Facebook or Instagram won't copy that as soon as possible, like they're already starting to. Listen to learn. They are using their user base to help them come up with features. That's cool. Kind of like Amazon-esque, you got to listen to the customer. We evolve our products by listening to our community. One of the first things we did was launch videos because photos were not enough to take a moment. Snap has actually, frankly, been responsible for a lot of innovation in the smartphone camera that they don't get credit for, that everyone just copies. Eliminating the inconvenience of separate photo and video mode, you could create snaps quickly and easily without fumbling around different settings. This is led because we solved an important, annoying problem for our users. Okay, Snapchat is, because we solved an annoying problem for our users. So they're saying there was a huge headache to post photos or videos and get it to your friends. They made it easy. That's why they took off. So this is a really interesting thing because it shows how Snapchat actually develops features. People wanted to send a group, but they didn't want to make the send to all button because it might encourage users to spam each other. So then they thought about this, and this is actually what they were worried it was going to ruin Snapchat, what made Snapchat personal and fun. So I really like how they take the time to think about, let's not just do what our users tell us. We really want to think about the value our service provides and make sure we don't ruin that value proposition to our core users when we're introducing new stuff. After 2 years after launch Snap, they launched My Story, which is basically their kind of evolution and interpretation of this send to all button. And now it's like one of the biggest pieces of their business model where they're serving ads. So really cool to see the whole evolution of how they came up with the Stories product and how it started by them listening to their customers. When we first launched Stories, they weren't very popular. Okay, that's true. I didn't use them when they launched. Back then, fewer than 10 million snaps were added to Stories every day. We continued to invest in improving Stories even when it wasn't clear it would be successful. Wow, so they just kept investing. On average, 25% of our daily active users post snaps to their stories every day. I think that is huge. That seems like that's basically the equivalent of posting a Facebook status. So the 25% of users post a Facebook status every day, maybe in Facebook's like best heyday, but definitely not now. People are just creating more content on Snap than any other social network, I think, which is a really important thing. Our drive to create new things comes from the belief that we can create products that will improve the lives of people who use them. Okay, pie in the sky. This is pretty funny. Many people didn't understand what Snapchat was and said it was just for sexting, even when we knew it was being used for so much more. It's kind of funny that they include the word sexting in their SEC filing, but whatever. So here they explain that they launched a new feature called Auto Advance, which plays all your stories back to back, kind of like one stream. Then they realized their community did not really want to see this. They're saying even though their community was posting more snaps, so it's boosting engagement, but they realized it wasn't really the right thing to do because it prevented users from being able to choose what they wanted to watch. So they were still committed to the same goal, and they turned the feature into a story playlist. So this is kind of a micro example, but really cool to see how Snap really is thinking about and just thinking through each feature so clearly. Like you could argue Instagram's not doing that right now because they're trying to copy Snap so desperately that they're just throwing features out, not really thinking about the core value proposition and its core users, although they haven't messed up so far. I just think it's interesting that Snap, you see their thought process and how they really go through and think about how each step of their innovation is going to impact their users. So here's a cool timeline of the innovation that Snapchat's had in its product. Really slowly, in the beginning, we're only rolling out a couple features, but now in 2016, they've really kind of taken off. Just like exponential growth and functionality and features of the app. Should honestly expected given that they're hiring more people and growing, but cool to see it here all laid out. Ooh, this is really interesting. Snaps are viewed primarily through Snapchat, but can also be embedded on the web or in television in certain circumstances. They are trying to do a Twitter thing here, I think, where even if you're not on Snap watching snaps or posting snaps, videos and people on TV will may like show your snaps through the platform, like, oh, remember when Donald Trump tweeted this? Then it's going to be, oh, remember when Donald snapped this? And then they'll show it on TV. So I think that unlocks a whole new avenue for revenue if they can embed their snaps on the web or television. This is a blueprint of the app, which is pretty fascinating. So when you open it, you start here, you can swipe up, go to your profile page. For all the millennials watching, this is second nature to you. You start with the camera, which is the hub of the app. You can swipe right, and then you go to the stories and kind of see like the newsfeed-esque thing that people have posted to everybody that's following them. Then you can go left where you see the personal messages that disappear that are sent just to you. And then you can save your memories, which is a collection of all your posts here. And this is the whole thing I was talking about where you can open this up and re-interact with your memories when they go to VR. This will kind of be like this memory cloud that you have of all your memories from your life that you can access and re-experience anytime you want. Super futuristic and weird, but that's what Snapchat's building. The camera. So it opens to the camera, which is the company's homepage, they're calling it, in the sense that it lets our users navigate to chat and stories interfaces. We've got switch the camera or flash, selfie to non-selfie mode, profile settings. And then after you take the picture, all these features pop up so you can edit it, draw on it, do your little emoji face, and what have you. They're calling it the creative tools, I guess. This is sort of where augmented reality happens, is when they have the camera and like you have your filter or whatever, and then you have your content and then you're drawing on it and overlaying on it, your geotag, your comments or whatever, and sending it. You're augmenting the reality that you're sending. Snap's going to keep building on that. Oh, speaking of augmented reality, yeah, so the lenses where you can like turn into a dog or, all these other ones right here that you scroll through, and let you change your face in real time. Really cool, incredibly complex software goes on behind the scenes to make this actually happen and look clean. And Snapchat's really the first company to make it work on such a mass scale, and is actually leading in augmented reality, given that they have these filters and people are using them every day. Code word for this is lenses. And they're always innovating lenses. We create lots of new lenses every month because we want our users to have surprising and entertaining effects to play with. I will say Snap has not let me down in that regard. They're always coming out with crazy weird filters. Even if they're weird, they're fun. Geo Filters is another product they offer where it swipes and it has like this custom art piece that it knows where you are, and it customizes the frame or kind of like some little design on the picture to go with that location. So this is Venice Beach, I think, which is where the company's founded. And I guess you can sell these. They can sell sponsored version of these, which is how they make revenue. Instagram actually rolled out this feature, or is rolling it out. 60% of all snaps are enhanced with creative tools. So that means, yeah, they're doing something right here, because more than half the time people create Snap, they're doing it and they're using these features to kind of swag it out. And I think more people would probably even use it if they know how. Like, there's definitely a learning curve where it takes some time to figure out how to use and maximize all the features that Snap has, but once you get used to it, you can't stop. And so I would even venture to say this number may rise over time. This is what it looks like after you've taken and edited your picture. You can decide who to send it to. Pretty straightforward. Ryan Gosling, or Ghostling, apparently. Matt Damon, okay. LL Cool J. Wow, they went Meryl Creep. They went all out. Rafe Hill. Okay. All out on the name puns here, Snapchat. 5 out of 10 on the name puns. Basically, what the inbox is to email, this is what it is to Snap. You see all your personal messages, videos, text, pictures, snaps. More than 60% of daily active users use our chat service every day to send snaps and talk with friends. Chat conversations. So now they've introduced this new thing called stickers, I guess, which are like these big things. And then you can chat to people after snaps. So they are going into text chat, even though they were shitting on that earlier. Interesting how they keep rolling out kind of just new ways to communicate. Then they have text, and they have stickers within the text, and all these little niches within the platform. The My Story page. So this is where you're interacting with the story or broadcast that people have posted for everybody to see of their followers. And then, so this is kind of like the news feed of Snapchat, so to speak. Rafe Hill posted something, LL Google J. So then now they're talking about something they launched, Our Story, which is instead of publishing something to My Story, you can contribute to Our Story, which is a collection of stories shared by different snappers at one big event. Then they launched Publisher Stories. This is actually how they make money. They let experienced publishers like news companies invest in high quality and editorial content for stories. We build attachment for snaps and publisher stories so that publishers could attach long-form content to each snap in their story. So users simply swipe up on a snap to access the attachment. So this is a big new feature they've had, where you're watching a story, you swipe up, and then you can engage with it in longer form content. And they're calling these publisher stories Discover. They're on the same page as your normal stories, just if you scroll down a little. Today, dozens of partners around the world, like Vogue and NBC, create publisher stories for Snapchat every day. We enter into agreements with many of these partners that allow them to earn a revenue share on advertising channels in their publisher stories. So really cool business model where Snapchat essentially lets brands create their own stories, and then they can put ads on those stories, and then Snapchat and the companies share the ad revenue. Okay, so now they're going to explain more about memories, which is probably one of my favorite features that they have, or one of my new favorite things that I think has really long-term potential and gives a peek into the future of Snap. So it's a pretty new feature, only launched in July 2016. Basically just allows you to save your snaps in this data bank. Allows Snap to turn into kind of like your own it's basically a personal cloud for all your historical snaps that you can access and replay at any time. So you got your snaps, your stories, what you made from spectacles, what's on your camera, just this bank of, I guess, your life's memories. When VR takes off and you can re-experience all of your memories through your Snapchat bank in VR, yeah, that's where we're headed. Publisher tools, that's what we just talked about, where they partner with these news companies to help them publish stories. Spectacles, woo! Snapchat are the best way to make memories because they capture video from a human perspective. Remember what I said about re-experiencing your memories in VR? Snapchat is building on that. Spectacles is the first step to capture this VR-esque content. As you can see, they're already kind of leaching into this VR realm of you can turn the screen and experience the content in different ways. So they're already getting towards this immersive virtual reality experience. The spectacles capture everything in the lens using circular video format, which can be viewed in full in screen on any device in any orientation. Circular video represents the evolution of our thinking around mobile video and the progression beyond our first vertical video format. So very cool changes happening behind the scenes at Snap with spectacles. I think this product is not moving the needle financially right now, but a huge deal in terms of showing us what the future vision of the company looks like. In just 5 years, Snap has evolved from picture conversations into the beginnings of a camera platform. I like it. We believe that the camera is just the starting point for the future of mobile interaction, entertainment, and education. Our business, why we sell ads. When we first started building Snapchat, we didn't know how it would make money. That's kind of funny. We were focused on creating new ways for mobile to talk by sending pictures back and forth on their smartphones. We wanted to make money, but the product was so new and different that it wasn't immediately obvious how to build a business around what we had created. As the company grew and more people used Snapchat, we realized we needed to start monetizing, and fast. Our server bills were getting expensive, so we decided to try a few things to figure out what worked. No kidding, that's why you guys are still losing money. Anyway, early on, we thought about charging our community to use additional features. For example, we saw so many people having fun at creative tools we made, like drawing and captions, we thought people might want to purchase additional ways to express themselves. To test this hypothesis, we built a lens story where users could access and buy our new lenses, in addition to the free ones we already provided. The results were disappointing. Only a small number of people wanted to buy lenses, and the number of people using lenses decreased. After a few weeks, we got rid of the lenses store and made all the lenses available for free. Almost immediately, our community began to use lenses more and more and create more and more snaps to send their stories to add to story. Wow, so they even give you the hardcore data here. And when they tried to monetize lenses, it killed engagement. Then they made it free. Booming. We learned that asking users to pay for creative ideas were a bad idea. You're literally directly disincentivizing engagement on the platform if you do that. So good to see Snapchat learn from that. This could have been a huge mistake if they had kept doing it. So then they have sponsored creative tools, sponsored Geo Filters, and sponsored lenses, which are apparently working better using creative content that is provided from our advertising partners. Okay. This is benefit. So they're saying the ads actually benefit the community in this way because they are empowering expression. If they have a company create a new lens for them, then it makes it more fun to use the app, even though someone just paid them to. Literally, they're having advertisers pay Snap to make it more fun for their users to use the app. It's a win-win for them to have these sponsored lenses and geo filters. Very smart business model. The results were immediately positive. Okay, I love it. Oh, the Taco Bell one. Yeah. So it makes it more fun because now you can play with this Taco Bell lens, but Taco Bell also gets advertising. Snap makes money. Incredible new paradigm for the advertising and marketing industry. This is 20th Century Fox. All these cool like superhero lenses they did, which makes once again the apps more fun to use it because you have these cool new lenses, but it's also good marketing for X-Men, and they're also paying Snap to do it. I mean, this is a really, really cool business model. They're giving some data here. The sponsored lens, which yielded 298 million views for the campaign, 13 percentage point increase in brand awareness, 7x the mobile norm. Solid. They're saying they have some data to back that up. Geo Filters, you can do a sponsored Geo Filter. I guess GE did one. Apparently Under Armour had a sponsored Geo Filter to boost awareness for its Rule Yourself campaign. Under Armour partnered with them to deliver the post-workout Geo Filter. The sponsored Geo Filter was viewed over 60 million times, created a 20% point increase in ad recall. Most importantly, the campaign yielded a 78% increase in purchase intent, over 5 times the mobile retail campaign norm. I'd be interesting to hear Under Armour's take. Advertising lingo is a little over my head here. Snap ads. This is advertising in stories. So you're watching all your friends' stories, then some ad pops out for H&M that you have to watch for 10 seconds. Pretty annoying, but that's how they're going to make money. So people are watching billions snaps every day. Think about how many ads they can put in there. This is definitely hurting the user experience to have ads in their story. You're not going to tell me it's not Snap, but whatever. We wanted to make sure they're engaging, fun, and creative. They're not. I've seen the ads. They're not that good. Wow, with an average of 10 billion videos watched on Snap every day. If they put an ad in one every 10 videos, that's 1 billion ads a day. Not bad. They're touting that 60% of all Snap ads are watched with sound on. I kind of think that may be a BS statement because you always watch I try and always watch my snaps with sound on. I would probably just leave my sound on if an ad came on because the sound's on already. So if my sound's on already and I'm just leaving it on, that doesn't really convince me that I don't know. This stat kind of seems weak because your sound's already on. You'd have to actively turn it off. Here they're showing you the cadence of you watch a Snap story, ad. You watch a Snap story, ad. Publisher stories, same thing. Basically, you're watching the content, they throw in a little ad. It's basically like watching a TV show and there being ads. It's just way quicker and more ADD. Like, you watch 10 seconds and see 1 second of ad instead of like 10 minutes and 1 minute of ad. We designed Snap ads to be skippable because we want users to give a choice whether or not they want to watch an advertisement. Kind of like YouTube. I think that's cool. Trolley ran a very successful Snap ad apparently. The NBA All-Star Game, the results showed a 33% lift in purchase intent for trolley products, over 2x the mobile CPG norm. Of the people who remembered seeing the campaign, 90% said they enjoyed it. Cool. So 90% of people actually liked watching the ad. If that's true, that's really good. When you swipe up after a publisher story, they can have a longer form video for you to engage with. They can have an article. They can let you install their app, or they can let you go to their website. So all these kind of like ways to get bigger, longer form content out of Snapchat. So if you like an ad, you can engage with it and kind of go into one of these forms and go even deeper, which is cool. And they probably make a lot more money if you actually follow through and do one of these actions after watching an ad. These are the types of attachments that have actually happened. Gatorade, you swipe up and then they have a more video. This fragrance one, you swipe down, it looks like an article. This one is for some sort of app that you can download. And then this ad is, I guess, lets you get a mobile web experience. This seems like the lamest. I think app installs got potential. Starbucks did a cool campaign, it looks like, where they did ads, they did a chain Geo Filter, a national lens. Looks like the sponsored lens was very engaging with users seeing an average of over 23 seconds of playtime per user. 40 million people viewing snaps that feature one of the Geo Filters. 117 million views. I love how they include these granular examples. Here they have a bunch more examples. Oracle Data Cloud, our who they're partnered with, where they're getting the data. They're basically trying to convince you that their ads are really effective, and they have all this data to track them, because that's been a critique of Snap, is how do we know if your ads are effective? Well, they have this whole section here. I'll let you guys dive into that if you want, because it's pretty complicated. Snap to store measurement. Wow. So now they're even trying to get sponsored geo filters that are driving 42,000 people to a Wendy's location, apparently. So they did this partnership with Wendy's to promote the jalapeno fresco chicken sandwich. This snap to store measurement apparently drove 42,000 incremental people to Wendy's within 7 days. A user visits the store and applies GeoFilter. Bam, posted on their story. Some of the users' friends see the app. They decide to go to the store. Then they post. Okay. So they're kind of trying to show the advertising landscape. They're claiming that they're number one in social network ad satisfaction from their customers. Who did this survey? Advertising Perceptions September 2016 Digital Marketing Campaign Systems Report. Who knows if this is legit, but Snap's using it. They're number one in satisfaction, number 4 in place to increase ad spend, and number 3 in the likelihood to recommend. So in terms of advertising on social networks, Snapchat looks very strong. And these are probably lagging indicators. This is probably a leading indicator, so I'm guessing that's what they're hinting at here. They're trying to tell you with this that more and more social ad budgets are going to get driven away from Google, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram towards Snap. More of the company's overall strategy. We've covered this already earlier in the filing. They want to take risks to continue to create the best and most differentiated product on the market. Here they're showing the advertising market. This is the traditional advertising, non-mobile ad spend, and then look at mobile ad spend. So Snapchat clearly in the sweet spot of the growth of the advertising market. That's kind of a no-brainer. Interesting. So media usage by the U.S. consumer. Mobile usage, of course, continues to steadily rise. Desktop is in decline. Okay. Television also steadily in decline, although it appears to be bottoming out. The point is, mobile is the strongest growth trend in media consumed by adults. Percentage of advertising spend by media, now mobile in 2020 there's gonna be more spend on mobile than any other type of advertising. So Snap, once again, claiming they're in the sweet spot of all the future of the advertising biz. So Snapchat, obviously, a big commitment to privacy. This is probably going to get really important in the future of the company. They say they delete all your content. Everybody has all this private stuff that they're sending on snaps. So if you got hacked and someone could read all your snaps, I guess, they're worried about that. So they talk about the competition, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, Google with YouTube, Twitter, significantly greater financial and human resources and larger user bases than Snap. But I think Snap's doing pretty good, honestly. Headquarters are in Venice, California, in the LA area. Sweet. According to them, that lets them attract some top tier talent. I believe it. Huge expenses on large scale infrastructure. As we talked about in part 1, they're spending $2 billion on the Google Cloud in the next 5 years, $1 billion on the Amazon Cloud in the next 5 years, maybe even more. And this is just all to support the infrastructure for their video software and their cloud-based camera. Here they're going into depth about the Google agreement, the AWS enterprise agreement. If you're into the cloud platform stuff, you could check this out. All about their contracts with these two companies, page 127. Wow. Who the hell knew Snap had patents? They have 328 issued patents and 220 filed patents relating to our camera platform and other technologies. So Snapchat has quite a bit of proprietary tech. In February 2017, they started the Snap Foundation. Wow, so they actually have a charitable thing. So each of the founder and co-founders is donating 13 million shares of common stock to the Snap Foundation over the next 15 to 20 years. Will support arts, youth, education, youth. Wow, so a charitable component within Snap here, the Snap Foundation. So Evan Spiegel, the CEO of the company, is only 26. Insane. The other co-founder is 28, Robert Murphy. So just wicked young. This is like a Zuckerberg, story. Obviously, they brought in a lot more senior people to help manage and run the company, but still just remarkable that the founders are so young and have taken this so far. And frankly, like, incredible execution, incredible job by these two guys. Great leaders. They've proven they can kick ass. Now the real test comes that they're going public, but I believe in these two. Imran Khan is their new strategy officer who just joined a couple years ago. A lot more senior, it looks like. He's 40. I guess that's old in Snap terms, but he was an equity analyst at JP Morgan, was a banker at Credit Suisse. So they're getting some more experienced people there. They brought in a CFO in February 2016. He was, he worked at Mattel. He was a SVP of corporate strategy and development investor relations. So a lot of senior people coming in, which is exactly what they need to really scale this up. SVP of engineering they brought in 2013 and worked for Amazon for 10 years. The non-employee directors, Michael Linton, is on the board of directors and is chairman since September 2016. He was the CEO of Sony for 5 years until he just stepped down. So a lot of heavy hitters on their board. Chief content officer of Hearst Magazines. Another board member since July 2016, A.G. Lafley. He was on the Procter & Gamble company as president and CEO. So, just a stacked board of directors. Partner at Benchmark, one of the world's most respected VC firms, also on the board. A couple more heavy hitters, but those are some of the important guys. Executive compensation. This is how much Spiegel's making. He's getting $1 million bonus each year. He's getting some 4 and 5. What is that? Security. Wow. $890,000 in 1 year for security for Spiegel. That's crazy. Just personal security. It seems like a lot of money. But Spiegel's making $500,000 a year. Not. I mean, I guess it's a lot with $1 million bonus, but given he's worth billions, doesn't seem that crazy. Now lots of stuff here about the equity plan, preferred stock. This is getting pretty technical. I'm going to let you guys do all this fun stuff yourself. A lot more details on the financials. You could spend hours and hours poring over this stuff. Okay, so that's a wrap up of the Snapchat S-1 review. This is part 2. I'm going to put part 1 in the link. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to start doing these for all the exciting IPOs. If you have questions, comments, things I should do better or worse,